I can't find. I don't want my. I know you can. Look at the stream, see. I don't get it. Wait, wasn't the screen on before? Oh, oh, I know. I'm holding my breath and watching my step on. Made that list. You're my depression, impression, deception, lying. I'm still flexing. Got my heart open, hiding. Moving. I'm in slow motion. My dosage higher. I still love my pills, Advils. I don't get it. It doesn't want to be in full screen. Okay, I think if I just loaded it, yeah. Fell in love, face after shrooms, the way animates your eyes in the room. I can see the stars when I'm gazing at you. Now I need the car with the stars in the roof. Oh, elephant on the room. She buried me in a tomb. No, it's still not working. Bro, what? In the room. When I'm alone in the room. I'm gonna blame that on the shrooms. My step. Got the rocket in window mode. Depression wasn't deception. Lying, flexing, heartbroken, hiding, moving. I'm in slow motion. My dosage higher. My pills, Advils. I feel, I feel, I still love my pills, Advils. I feel, I feel. Nope, still doesn't like it. Na, na, na. Don't kill me, just help me run away from everyone. I need a place to stay where I can cover up my face. Mm, 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 mm. Wait, what I just did? Head is filled with parasites, black holes cover up my eyes. I dream of you almost every night. Hopefully, I won't wake up this time. 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 All right. All right. I see a red door and I want more. I By dressed in their summer clothes. I have to turn my head until my darkness goes. A line of cars. Look away. like a newborn baby. It just bends every day. I inside myself and see my I have to face the facts. Facing up when my green sea. I could happening to you. Summer clothes. Go. He called me again, drunk in your Benz, driving home under the influence. Me to death, wasting my breath, only listen to you, relate to you. I don't relate to you, no. Make me hate. keeps me wondering. This silence, it just keeps me going. Saying, playing like I was Novocaine. Numb the pain, pain. Mm-hmm. Uh-oh. What up, mystery man? Um. Mm-mm. Mm. What's his name? Jeremy Jones. Jeremy Jones. Can't forget about Jeremy Jones. Mm. Mm-hmm. Jeremy Jones.
Train by day, Joe Rogan podcast by night, all day. Jeremy Jones, what's happening, baby?
Not much,
Finally
right?
did it. Very humbling experience. I should tell everybody Jeremy Jones, professional pool player, the team captain of the Moscone Cup, which is the most prestigious international team tournament in all the world of pool. But what I really enjoyed is I've talked with you for the last couple of days. You're a very smart guy, very interesting guy. Has a lot of, like a lot of interest in all kinds of different things. You're a very fascinating guy. That's why you're so good at commentary.
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe just growing up watching all that stuff, and I think my parents, they had pretty vast interest, even though maybe didn't afford it all the time to be able to, kind of go with it. But yeah, number 5 to 6 kids, you learn a lot of stuff.
Well, it's just always been fascinating to me. The people that are really good at pool are some of the fucking smartest people I've ever met in my life. They just got that bug. They got that bug to chase this one thing, geometry and pockets and balls and collisions. And they got that bug to chase it. But some of the best players that I've talked to, they're some of the smartest people I've ever met.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that just tells you about the game, right? How
Yeah.
much there is to it, and yeah, I mean, it's just it grabs you. If you're watching, paying attention to what goes on, it's like hardly ever the same thing. You don't realize how much control you have. I thought pool was like play late on bowling. Prior to playing,
Right.
I didn't play it well. I didn't know how to play it for a living. There's movies out there and stuff, but it just didn't seem real.
How old were you when you first started playing?
Really playing 17 years old. Yeah, I started late.
I started really late. I was 25. Somewhere up 24. Yeah.
Yeah. I worked a few jobs. We, have a few beers on the weekends at a pizza restaurant. Play poker with them. Tip money. One of the guys would go to the end and play pool. And he took me down there one day, kind of hustled me a little bit,
was, just starting out, didn't know what I was doing. And I was like, that looks so different than anybody else I've ever seen play pool. Like the way they hit the ball, so soft, with such control, and watching the ball spin off the cushions and get perfect for the next ball, and everybody's like shaking their head. Wow, that got me. That's what got
absolutely.
me.
Yeah, I think the culture of it is a big part of it.
Yeah.
Just being able to gamble and not take it personal.
Right.
Like you hate the casino when you go to it, right? I mean, they're like cussing the casino, they're cheating, they're doing this, right? But I mean, where I was at, we could gamble, and then we could hang out. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And then we're on teams the next day, we're not on. So
Yeah.
that to me was pretty fascinating overall.
There's a culture that encourages more gambling. The best way to encourage more gambling is not have fisticuffs every time somebody loses. Like some guys just get too perfect. Like it's a natural feeling. The guy just beat you. You feel bad. You're angry at him, but really you should be angry at yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And it's just that's what you're both trying to do. It's an agreement. Like figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, you beat a guy, you don't bust his chops too often, right? You let him cool off, and then all's good. But
Everybody goes back to like McCready's character in The Color of Money, which is apparently from what everybody tells me from those days, really McCready was probably like wilder than that.
no, I think I've sweated it 100%.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was in with a player playing Keith, and I think they played something like 4 days or 5 days with like an 8-hour break or 10-hour break in the middle. And if you stay there and sweat that kind of pool with those guys, you see stuff that you're just not going to see. You know what I mean? They get a little rum-dum, they get a little agitated, then they're hugging. An hour later. Oh yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, but Keith would definitely talk a little bit. He liked a little banner.
Those are the craziest legendary sessions when guys just gambled for 3 straight days in a row. People think it's bullshit, but that's part of the thing about pool and gambling is nobody wants to quit.
Oh no, you're trying. I mean, if
You don't quit when you're up, and if you're down and you still got some fight left in you, this guy might get tired.
or money,
Yeah,
you might,
right.
I've seen them go through 3 or 4 steak courses in a night. And,
Yeah.
But I mean, I think you and I were talking about it earlier. It's so much different these days. When I went to the pool room, I was fully rested, like 10, 12 hours. 'Cause I knew I'm there to beat 4 or 5 guys. I'm going to be there 20, 30 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you want. You want to put the
Yeah.
parlay on them, like
Yeah.
that. You want to take a, somewhat small bankroll and try to run it through somebody. So,
That's a fascinating way to live your life. It really is. If out of all of the things, if you talk about like American folklore, just like American culture, all the poetic characters, the professional pool player is one of the most interesting because it is the least guaranteed job that has ever existed.
yeah, there's lots of sayings. I think it's the hard way to make it easy living. Easy living is one of them, right? But I mean, if I was lucky, I was around some of the old school ones as well, and the charisma is true. Like if you see genuine charisma, then it's a real thing. And that's what the old guys have. The other young guys have it too, but it's just a little different.
Well, everyone seems, it's interesting because it seems like pool is just like every other thing in that the guys today are as good, if not better, than anybody that's ever existed.
Oh, absolutely. And
Yeah.
there's more of them. That's the problem.
There's so many of them.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
There's
so
more coming.
impressed. Europe, Asia, guys from Taiwan, guys from China, guys from Japan, guys from Spain. Whoa.
Well,
Killers.
most global sport
Killers.
there is, I think.
It's amazing how much talent there is out there. Like I'm just so impressed with what the level is now. Because if you no disrespect to anybody who played back in the day, but if you go back and you watch a tournament,
What's going on?
versus you watch how these guys are playing now, it's almost like it's a completely different game.
Playing some
Different
Minecraft.
style, rather.
Yeah, I think the equipment allows for that too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
and the training. I mean, that these guys. You had Fedor Gorst. I'm sure y'all talked about his regimen, right?
He's my perfect example. He's almost playing like a totally different style of pool. Like his style of pool is like, it's so perfect. Like his position, the way he stands with his body, how rigid it is. It's like people that don't understand that are just saying the guy just makes something look easy. But people that do understand, like, that's like a work of art. Like, look what he's doing.
Oh,
It's like
absolutely.
artwork.
Yeah. He's kind of like, back in the
Yeah, I
day.
played Java.
I used to say to a lot of guys that go on the road, hey, if they don't beat me in the first couple of hours, we're all right. You know what I mean? Because I get better and better and better. He kind of doesn't even look for that. He doesn't even want a gear. He just has, it's just steady gear. The whole, you know what I mean? It's just like, he's not looking for that rhythm, even though it's there, I guess, a little bit. But he's just a different machine,
Well, he's so well trained in terms of his fundamentals, and it's all so repeatable. And I think that exists in martial arts, it exists in archery, and it really exists in pool. If you have really good fundamentals, like that's why a lot of those snooker guys really excel when they try to learn pool. But their fundamentals, like their stroke fundamentals, are so perfect.
Yeah. I mean, they
No, I
they
don't-
learn
I
some
don't play
things as
better,
they
right?
come over.
I think I have in the past.
Don't you all the time? Snooker.
Snooker.
Yeah.
Or I still don't know why a bank is called a double in snooker.
That's
Just a
what they call it?
one-rail bank is called a double. So there's a few of them that I'm not really sure about, but
That's an interesting.
It's dope.
Oh, it's a great game. Yeah, I mean, I think I think 9-ball's a little better looking for today's people. You know what I mean? Like snooker is done really well. And it's got a great following, and it should. But I don't know.
There's nothing like breaking.
Yeah, the different balls. You feel a little more aggression. I think.
Yeah.
Which in sports you usually want to feel that aggression.
And if you fuck up and leave a 9 in front of the hole, it's an easy victory for your opponent. There's something beautiful about the luck aspect of 9-ball. Balls bounce all over the place. And when you're down, and then all of a sudden, boom, the guy shits a 9-ball in. You're like, God damn it.
And you can change it around. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? You
Yeah.
turn things around.
It's such an exciting game, and it never stops being exciting. When it's played at a
I
good
don't know
level,
what that
it just
is.
never stops being exciting.
Hive.
It's one of the most engaging physical games that I've ever participated in.
Yeah, and you would think for a non-contact sport, the adrenaline gets way up there.
I know.
I mean, it's pretty intense.
They've done heart rate monitors on guys, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What's like the highest anybody got jacked?
Oh my God. A guy a couple years ago, Max Everly was trying to make the team, so we traveled to Moscow, actually to play the Russian team, and we put him on there. I think it was Garmin that was the sponsor or whatever. Max, I mean, some guys were 130, 125. Max was like 180, 170. I mean, it was unreal.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and he couldn't play position at all. It was just one of those things. But he knocked in every shot.
Wow.
I mean, that was incredible. Yeah, but you could tell.
Fundamentals.
Yeah, fundamentals.
Max
yeah.
has picture perfect fundamentals.
Yeah. Real straight stroke. He's been around a long time. It was a pretty fun experience for Max. I was happy to see it.
So when you were a kid, and so you started off working in this game room, and you learned how to play pool. Then, like, how long before you're just all in with pool, like all day long?
Oh, it didn't take long at all, and I was kind of lucky. A little unlucky, but lucky at the same time, where my parents actually split up for like 12, 13 months, right? So during this time, I lived with my mom, and there's no chance I would have ever been a pool player if they didn't split up for that little period of time, right? So my dad just wouldn't have allowed it. And so they got back together, and then I'm graduating high school, getting out of school, so it wasn't really up to him. But I was pretty much first road trip right out of high school.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what did you do, and how did you do it?
Okay, the road trip?
Yes.
Okay, so me and my high school buddy, Doug Donovan, we played a lot of pool together. We decided we're going to do this. And his was more of an experiment kind of thing. He was going on to UT and, doing his thing. And so we went to New Orleans first. We were going to go visit my grandparents in Florida. Knew Florida was a good spot. So we went Florida, we went New Orleans first, Mississippi second, Alabama third. We hit all these spots. And back in the day, now I didn't know this as of yet because it was my first road trip, but on a normal road trip, because no cell phones, right? You go to like Waffle House when you drive in, you get you some food, and you go get the Yellow Pages. And you literally go to where it says billiards in the Yellow Pages, and you just start going to the payphone and calling. And normally, the bartender or whoever answers will divulge a little more information than they probably should. Like if the players knew, oh yeah, she's telling me, yeah, Joe's a good player, and he likes to gamble 9-ball. This guy likes to play one pocket, So you get a lot of information over the phone, and then you just go to those pool rooms and, start trying to get down.
Wow. And how good of a player were you fresh out of high school?
Well, at all, and I was kind of lucky. a little unlucky, but lucky at the same time, where my parents actually split up for like 12, 13 months, right? So during this time, I lived with my mom, and there's no chance I would have ever been a pool player if they didn't split up for that little period of time, right? So my dad just wouldn't have allowed it. And so they got back together, and then I'm graduating high school, getting out of school, so it wasn't really up to him. But I was pretty much first road trip right out of high school.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what did you do and how'd you do it?
Okay, the road trip?
Yes.
Okay, so me and my high school buddy, Doug Donovan, then we went and played, we played a lot of pool together. We decided we're going to do this. And his was more of an experiment kind of thing. You know, he was going on to UT and, you know, doing his thing. And so we went to New Orleans first. We were going to go visit my grandparents in Florida. Knew Florida was a good spot. So we went Florida, we went New Orleans first, Mississippi second, Alabama third. You know, we hit all these spots. You know, and back in the day, now I didn't know this as of yet because it was my first road trip, but on a normal road trip, because no cell phone, right? You go to like Waffle House when you drive in, get you some food, and you go get the Yellow Pages. And you literally go to where it says billiards in the Yellow Pages, you know, and you just start going to the payphone and calling. And normally, the bartender or whoever answers will divulge a little more information than they probably should. You know, like if the players knew, oh yeah, she's telling me, yeah, Joe's a good player and he likes to gamble at 9-ball. This guy likes to play one pocket, you know. So you get a lot of information over the phone, and then you just go to those pool rooms and, you know, start trying to get down.
Wow. And how good of a player were you fresh out of high school?
Well, you know, a year, and I was real lucky. I had some really good players just kind of like come to the pool room and play me pool and do things with me and show me things. And I was a pretty good athlete anyway, so I kind of picked up things quick. But I played good enough to beat them on the way to Florida, Joe. But they were way too smart, and we were way too dumb to stop at the same pool rooms on the way back because they got us on the way. They kind of knew how we played, you know what I mean? Brought some play. Yeah. Got us on a few gap games, you know. So we kind of went empty on the way home, pretty much. But
Explain a gaff game to the uninitiated.
So a gaff game is kind of like, you know, 3-card, right? The shell game, any of those games. You know, you're going to lose, and even if you're going to pick the right one, they start the, you know, the song and dance again. That's how the shell game goes, right? So it's basically a game that you're just not going to win at.
Like, give me an example.
It sounds good, kind of like, oh, like this might sound good to you, but you know better now, like
8-ball, taking balls off.
that kind of thing. Or say we're playing 9-ball, right? And I might say to you, Joe, all you got to do is drive a ball to the rail, but I get break ball in hand. Playing 9-ball, you understand?
Right.
So I mean, if I'm basically playing the ghost, meaning
Right.
I'm going to try and run out every time, but until you start to see it happening, you're not going to believe it. You might go for that. You ain't even got to pocket a ball. You just got to drive one to a rail.
Right.
You know, there's tons of them. So
That's an interesting game to play with someone who can't play, because that would get them thinking, I can do that.
Or naive pool rooms. Like if there's not any pool rooms with a good player that just really ain't running out, I mean, that just sounds like the world.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That just sounds, all right, yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Exactly.
I can drive one to a rail, that's for sure, but, you know.
But the thing is, like practicing with you today, probably not. Like, and especially if it's a bucket, it's a large pocketed table. You run out like a champion, man. It's amazing. And I know you're not like playing professionally as much anymore, but damn, that was really impressive.
Yeah, I've been here a few days. Got to play a little pool here in Austin already, so that's good. But
Shout out to Skinny Bob's.
Yeah, Skinny Bob's.
That's a great spot.
Yeah, the 50th going on, the longest running tournament in the country.
I went there last year to sweat it. I might try to make it there this year too. It's fun, man. I love watching high level pool. It's just and especially it's one of those things that I always said it's like an art form that only the people that do it appreciate.
Yeah, and when you really get into it, you see different strikers, you know what I mean? The strokes are different, you know what I mean? A little bit, you know, the position's a little different at times, different things, different breakers, different ways to win, you know what I mean? So it's attractive in that manner, I think.
Yeah. No, it's just it's an interesting thing that there's different approaches. You know, some guys have like thick shafts, some guys have little tiny shafts.
Yeah, body types.
Yeah.
Right? You're talking about Kachi, you know, unfortunately what happened to him recently, but This guy looks like, like built like Gronk almost. Not quite as muscle as
He's
Gronk.
a big dude.
Yeah, huge. And then you
Yeah.
got what, Little Co, who's one of your favorites that you said. Yeah,
I
what's
love
he?
the Co brothers.
90 pounds soaking wet, maybe.
Yeah, Ko Ping Chung and Ko Ping Yi are two of my favorite guys to watch because the way they play is so smooth. It's so controlled.
Yeah.
Like it seems like he's never hitting the ball at different speeds. He's just hitting it at different places on the ball, unless it's a very soft shot. Everything is just like this beautiful controlled stroke.
Yeah, everything looks
masterful.
medium, right? Everything looks like
Yeah.
right in the middle.
I forget what match I was watching recently, but he broke around the first 5 racks, and it was just like exquisite.
Oh, yeah.
Like-
Little one? The little one?
No, that was the big one.
Oh, Koping Yi.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a third,
Assassin.
There's a third one in
I
there.
heard.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that guy play.
Yeah, he's got a lot of talent. He's way tall compared to the other two.
Oh, really?
So it's almost like when I watch him, he's still kind of getting his coordination as a tall man because he's pretty young, So, yeah, he's got a lot of game.
There's something about watching these guys from the time that they're really young. Like some guys get so good so quick. Like Wu Chao Ching, that dude who won the world championships at 16 years old.
Yeah, the 9 ball, and then later in the year, the 8 ball as well.
Insane.
Oh,
At
yeah.
16.
Oh, yeah. I was there when he won the 9 ball.
He was like fearless.
Well, he manhandled the whole tournament
Yeah.
at 16. It was like you could see after like the 3rd or 4th round a little different complexion on his opponents compared to everyone else's opponents.
Yeah, he was an interesting guy too because he played with a heavy Southwest, right?
Yeah, the Chinese Taipei, former Taiwanese, right? That's a big common cue for them is the Southwest. Maybe more on Southwest and Chinese Taipei than anywhere in the world.
Well, that's what's interesting too, is that everybody has like a different philosophy on whether a cue should be heavy or a cue should be light. But what's for people that don't know what the fuck we're talking about, what's so fascinating about it is you're trying to apply a certain amount of pressure to this thing that you're holding in your hand that you drive into a cue ball to get the proper amount of revolutions, and you're doing it across a whole table. So it's like a 9-foot canvas. And when the ball goes 3 rails and comes all the way back, it's perfect for position on the next ball. It's one of the most beautiful things in life.
Oh yeah, the curve. People don't realize the cue ball curves all over the place.
Yeah.
You know what a masse is, right? But like every shot, it curves.
So how much knowledge did you have when you were out there hustling when you were 17? Did you know how to make a good game? Did you just wing it? Just experience?
No, I mean, Baytown, where I'm from, east side of Houston. So, I stayed in Baytown, that area, for the first 6-8 months I played, and then because everyone said don't go to Houston, too many great players, and so I started going there. But I started learning real quick, like you're trying to hang on to your bankroll, you learn a little quicker, and so I was a little savvy for a year player, probably a little more than most, but yeah, I was pretty naive.
And so you were telling me, we were talking about earlier, that there's parts of the country that are not good to go to for gambling.
Back in the day, at least.
Back
yeah.
in the day.
Yeah.
But the South is overwhelmingly good to go to for gambling.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's just like tournaments with Calcuttas or auctions.
Mm-hmm.
A good auction in New York, if they even have one, might be like 5,000 in there. Buffalo's, I think they had, I don't know, 320,000 or something like that in May.
Are we
and that's in New
Are we
Orleans.
going to get in trouble with the IRS because of this conversation?
Well, no, it's legal in Louisiana, so they don't take anything out of the purse or anything. So there's no,
So for people that don't know what a Calcutta is, so if Jeremy was in a tournament, you could actually buy him in the tournament, and you're gambling against all the other people that are picking different players.
Yeah, they auction everyone off
Yeah,
on a
so
side
everybody
pot.
gets
Yeah,
auctioned.
exactly. Yeah.
And if there's a lot of gamblers, it can get pretty high, and it gets fun.
Yeah, like
Sometimes- Yeah.
like at your country club, like tournament, like your club tournament or whatever, they usually do a Calcutta for
They
each
do
team.
that too.
Yeah, they do that an awful lot.
Yeah. So when you were first, like, just trying to go out and get games, you're just calling people in the yellow pages, showing up in person, and how do you know your speed in comparison to, like, are you just guessing?
A
It's
little.
easy, like, your first experiences, like, traveling.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you hear about things, right? You get information from people as you go on. You get to start to know people. You meet this guy in this area, that guy
Right.
in that area. So you keep in touch, and if something's serious going on, they, send you a page on the old pager, and you make a call and you make a decision if you're going to drive across. Now that was a few years into it, but at first it was kind of like I did some dumb shit. You know, like went in with like a mechanic shirt on, you know, like all greased up. Well, Color of Money didn't get me going
Right.
for pool. That was a little bit before, but I did watch it.
Right.
You know, so I kind of felt like,
You can be a hustler.
yeah, but immediately went away from that. A lot better just to go in and say, hey, we like to play, you know,
Yeah.
and they usually get one of their better players, and you're hitting every little town.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you're betting yourself a little more often, and it's easy to tell pretty quickly, unless you catch one of them smart guys that know how to stall, you know, that are hustling you, you know what I mean?
Right.
So that's happened.
Did you encounter a lot of those?
A lot of attempts, you know, but normally the hustler would come up asking for a big spot. You know, the smart hustler was the one that could come in and start playing even and then figure it out from there. You know, it's just a little easier to get down. You know, and I knew a lot of those guys that, you know, were there to win. You know?
Now, when you would go to a new pool room, would you try to make a friend and maybe give him a gapper to steer you in the right direction?
Yeah, that was kind of touchy. I mean, you learn quickly that
Double steer.
the same guy that's going to give you information is probably talking to someone else too,
Right.
you know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, best off to be able to evaluate a room pretty quickly, and it's amazing from coast to coast how common people are at the pool.
And when you were doing this, did you realize like how wild it is to be a young, free man just traveling the country, gambling on pool? Did you realize like how wild that is?
Absolutely. I got reminded of it a lot of times just because you get stuck in situations and so you get to know people and they kind of remind you of it. You know, we checked one time we checked for like 2 weeks because it was the blizzard in 91. I don't remember. It was just freaking crazy. People died in the mountains because of it and all that. But so we're stuck and we're basically walking to the pool room, sliding to the pool room, whatever, every day. So you kind of think about it, and then my friend that was with me, he finally had to end his road trip to get back and go to school. So that reminds me of what I'm doing a lot.
Right.
You know, that I'm
Right.
out there just kind of going from place to place, single, just playing all the pool I can, and you know, it was great. Yeah, pretty special.
Yeah, it's romantic.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it really is. I mean, how many movies are there about pool hustlers or that type of person who's just living this? I mean, that's what was so attractive to it to me. It was not just watching people that played really well. It was the culture. It was a culture of people that just weren't gonna fit in with 9 to 5. It was not an option.
Yeah.
These guys were wild people, and there were a lot of them were gambling addicts, and a lot of them were really fucking smart guys, and they were really good pool players.
Oh, yeah.
And they just couldn't deal with the regular world. They had to get to a pool. Let's get to a fucking pool. Are there any pool players around here? And they didn't give a fuck about anybody who wasn't a pool player.
Yeah, they're comfortable, you know what I mean?
Yes,
So,
and they
yeah.
were just around these people, and every day would be the same kind of conversations. Like, this guy could get the A, and,
Oh,
this,
yeah.
and it was always like, you don't have heart. You
Well, that was
ain't
New York,
gambling."
right?
Oh my God, New York was so much talk, but so little like real high gambling that I saw. But I saw a few. I told you about Water Dog
Yeah.
when he played this guy George the Greek. That was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. I've talked about it before. So in brevity, he would do heroin in the bathroom, come out, sit on a chair for 20 minutes, just like gone, and then couldn't miss. It was wild.
Yeah.
On a what you would call like a gaff table. It was a very tight table, and the shims were all fucked up. It wasn't perfect.
Right.
Like if you hit the point on the way in, weird shit could happen.
You could hit the ball well and it not go.
Yeah. It was, but he was firing them in like it was a swimming pool.
Oh, yeah.
He was firing them in. It was his
Sound like Earl right there.
His stroke was so pure. It was so pure. It was so wild to watch. He was just running out. I think he might have run like 75 and out or something like that. Like something
Yeah, which
crazy.
is like 300 on a regular table.
We just watch him do it. It was like watching him just run ball after ball, like George didn't do shit. He beat him a couple times like that with different games too. I think they played some one pocket too. George loved one pocket, but he would gamble high. He would like be the one guy that would gamble thousands of dollars. And then there was this one dude named International Sal. And International Sal made his money from American Express card scam. Way back in the day, they would get the carbons, and then they would make duplicate cards and buy a bunch of shit and then sell it. And he would go to the pool hall, and they would bring him bags of cash, just bags of cash. And he was just there all day gambling, losing.
Yeah, well, he was probably one of the few gamblers there. I mean, I love New York. I love the guys around New York, but it is more of like a lot of shit talking, really, and not as much action, maybe.
It's interesting that that's the case, because you would think of New York, you would think of like wild people, crazy, they're out there on the streets, they're gambling, you know, like.
Yeah, it's almost like they've been doing it longer, though. Like they're smart. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, they want to win. I mean, they want the edge. And, you know, that's another part of it that's always awesome, you know? When you're in there trying to match up, everyone's trying to get a little edge.
Yeah.
It's just almost like human instinct to try and get a little edge. You know?
Did you read Running the Table, the Kid Delicious book?
No, I haven't read it completely yet.
It's a really good book.
He was a great guy.
The guy who wrote it, what is his name? John Wertheim, I believe. Fucking just did a beautiful job, like painting that romantic story of them doing the same thing, like traveling the road and playing pool. I know there was all this talk about turning that into a movie, and I think it would have been a great movie. I think if the right person got a hold of it, it really understood what you were saying.
Yeah, Danny used to talk about it.
Yeah.
Possibly becoming a movie, so.
I know they were trying to do something with it, but then they died, you know, so I don't know, you know, what they would, I don't know how, I mean, you would have to get someone to play him that looked like him.
I don't know if anyone could ever act like him.
No
though.
one.
He was awesome.
No
I mean,
one.
like, incredible. One time we were in Toledo at the Glass City Open, and Sports Illustrated was following him. And me and him were playing like the third round, the winners. And I got him like 10-6 racing 11, and he comes back and beats me. But the shot he made to win at Hill Hill out of the pocket, right? Like, you know how you set the ball up in the middle of the table, and you know you put the cue ball in the corner and you try to follow it in sometimes, or you try to draw. I mean, and he stabbed this ball in, but he gave the Sports Illustrated photographers the Hulk when he beat. I mean, it was unbelievable. I mean, it was great. Right in Sports Illustrated too. Right?
Wow.
So, yeah. Yeah, I love that guy. He was incredible.
Yeah, there's a few really good books on pool. Playing Off the Rails, another one.
Yeah.
Really good book on pool. And Tony Anagoni.
Yeah, Tony.
But that just romantic vision of this person doing like the craziest kind of way to make a living. You're making a living off of your skills, and you're just gambling random people in pool halls. And the people there are looking out for people like you because they know people like you come into town.
Yeah, but they kind of like it too.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
I mean,
of
it's,
course.
you know, more like, you know, we call it complimentary action these days. You know, when you become kind of a name, people want to play you, and you know they play you. You know, like Shane, he goes to these places, he'll play 50 a set.
There was a
He'll
guy.
make like 10,000 playing 50 a set.
There was a guy who was really good who was from, I believe he was from Montreal. Paul
Portier.
Yes, Paul Portier. Paul Portier came through Executive Billiards and robbed a bunch of people.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was fun to watch.
Wow.
That was fun to watch.
Because he wasn't a big gambler per se.
Yeah, but
You know
he
what I
was so
mean?
good.
Oh yeah.
He was so good though. He
Yeah.
was stealing with some of these guys.
He's a really good teacher up there now. I think that's
Yeah.
what he mainly does. Teaches pool.
Yeah, he shot my friend Johnny's nuts in. It was beautiful to watch though. I mean, the guy just watching someone who's just elegantly moving that ball around the table for perfect position.
He was kind of an elegant kind of guy anyways.
Yeah,
He was always
dressed
cleaned
nice.
up. Yeah, real nice,
Yeah,
real
handsome.
clean. Yeah, it seemed like, you know, Jackie Gleason.
There he
kinda.
is.
Yeah.
There he is, his beautiful mustache. Hell of a player.
Yeah, he actually lived in Texas for quite some time.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, he lived in the Dallas area.
So he was the first pro that I ever saw that came through Executive.
Oh, wow.
The first like real legitimate pro. And that was, you know, early on, I was just learning pool.
Yeah.
Just learning pool.
Yeah, well, he was pretty solid fundamentally and stuff, you know, like kind of critique that, so be a good one to watch. But he was kind of like just a 9-ball player, so not to pick on Paul, of course, but when you're on the road,
You got to play everything, huh?
You learn you got to play. Yeah, I mean, you know, you're going to come into some areas where they just don't play 9-ball.
How many times have you gone to a place that they only play bank pool?
Well, I'll tell you one place. I was in Cleveland. So I was on the road with
Which is right next to Kentucky.
Well, this is north. Ohio's north.
Oh,
though.
Cincinnati.
Yeah, Cincinnati.
Cincinnati's north.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to think because Kentucky's supposed to be the bank place.
Well, I'll get back to that one I was going to talk about. But yeah, I went through like all over Kentucky, a lot of small towns. That's the only. Now I wouldn't say that's the only thing they would play, but but that's the only thing they play me without knowing me.
Oh, okay.
So like Mount Sterling, I don't know if the pool, I don't know how old this pool table was, right? These pool balls were so old, they were like snooker ball size.
They were worn out?
Oh my God, it was unbelievable how they're like BBs. I mean, these balls, right? No, this guy's been racking the balls for 60 years, getting a quarter in this pool.
What?
60 years for the gamblers. They're playing like I'm playing like 300 a game. These guys play 200, 300, 400 a
He
game
gets a quarter a rack.
for 60
Did
years.
he ever get a raise? Did he ask for a raise?
I don't know. I was only there like 2 days, so I don't know. Yeah.
Can I get $1?
But no, he was happy as hell.
Wow.
I mean, he looked, just one of the nicest guys in there.
Just like
you know?
being there.
Yeah. But one time I was in Cleveland and I was on the road with a friend of mine who's a black guy, right? So he's going to take me to these spots where black guys play, mainly, like in that area. So I walk in this pool room in Cleveland called Carnegie Billiards, and the whole area is more black area, right? So we walk in the pool room, and there's a sign that says no 9-ball allowed, no recreational pool allowed. So they had eight 9-foots and a billiard table, and you couldn't take your date in there. It was all action. Yeah, so the guy, he's like, you're young.
No recreational
Yeah,
play.
no recreational play. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
You know, you'll see those no gambling signs. That's a no gambling sign.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right.
I love that. No
Oh, no, it was
recreational
awesome.
play.
So the guy that ran the joint was called Shorty, and he was one of the younger guys in the place. He's probably 35, and this is 1994, so I'm 23. So he says, you're kind of young. He says, I know you want to play 9-ball. He says, I'm going to let one set for 500. He just first thing he says to me. So, because he knows the guy I'm with, so we're there for action, And so I beat him a set of 9-ball. It's only 9-ball played. But I stayed there 2 weeks playing those guys, and all they play is one pocket, banks, or billiards. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
3 cushion billiards?
3 cushion billiards, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, there were a couple really great players in there that, they kind of played, giving some handicaps in the 3 cushion, but it was mainly one pocket and banks.
That's a wild game, 3 cushion billiards. It's one that just, for whatever reason, it's really hard to find. It never took off for some strange reason in America. Or it did at one point in time. It was very popular, right?
Yeah, it was popular, but it was more like exhibition, and the tournaments just didn't pay that much. It's almost like the old school players back in the day. They didn't make their money off the tournaments. They made their money winning some tournaments and then getting sponsored and traveling the country for Brunswick doing these exhibitions, like Moscone and Karas and all those kind of guys.
Right.
So, but now it's starting to take off a little bit because Korea is so huge in Korea again.
Really?
Yeah, big money they're playing for. Not like golf money, but 100,000 for first, 150,000 for first. Yeah, big money. Yeah.
No kidding. And who's putting these events on?
A couple Korean companies over there because it's always been big in Korea, right? It just kind of got rekindled again. So now, all around the world, really, they're having bigger tournaments.
That's awesome.
They're playing for 30s and 40s. That's good for first.
That's
16
great.
players.
Yeah, well, I love that there's so many events now, because I watch so many of them on YouTube. Like, if you enjoy watching pool, I used to have a box of AccuStats VHS tapes. Like this, like a washing machine box filled with running tapes. And I got rid of all of them now because you just fucking get everything on YouTube.
Yeah,
everything's
absolutely.
on YouTube.
Well, I asked this question. You might know. Is there any more streamed sport in the world than pool?
It's streamed constantly.
But so many different ones
so
as
many
well.
different ones,
It's,
right? All these different pool rooms, like Oscar's pool room, Hard Times in Sacramento, just streamed that tournament. I was saying I was watching Tyler Styler and Shane play.
Yeah, let alone great players. The next level down, other tournaments.
Right.
It's amazing to me. I don't know of other sports. I don't watch them like that. I'm a sports guy, but maybe what you're into, some type of MMA or some type of martial arts or something, maybe that's streamed a lot.
They don't really stream that often. There's only like big events that stream. There's UFC, there's Bellator, there's I guess you could probably get PFL on some sort of streaming device too, right? It has to, right? And then one championship, I think you get that streaming too. But I feel like there's so many multiple pool events that are happening like simultaneously.
Oh, platform after platform, really.
Yeah.
There's a ton. There's no more, I don't think, that I've ever heard of or seen.
I think it's the internet. I think the internet sort of rekindled it in some people. And I also think it got a boost during the pandemic because people started playing again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was talking to you about pool table sales and whatnot during the pandemic. It was through the roof, and along with that, I mean, you're going to just get a percentage that like it, you know. And once they start liking it, they're going to watch it.
So
Start
if a kid
to know people, right?
gets really good now, it's actually a legitimate career path. But when you were you're just a wild person. You're just out there doing wild person things.
Well, it kind of made steps for me. I mean, I kind of, like I said, I never knew you could make a living or play good pool, and then it kind of, all right, I can make good pool. I'm actually making, you know, cash money, you know, pretty good overall for the year, and then I started playing some smaller. I never really had a clue of playing professionally still. It kind of crept up on me.
When did that happen?
Well, 1995 and 6 Johnny Archer kind of just told me, he said, hey, you need to start playing that. He said, you're the good enough player, it's where you should be. Just depends on if that's what you want to do, you know. And so I still gambled afterwards. Kind of slowed down a little more of the gambling, started to go to tournaments, traveling all over the world, you know, country playing tournaments. But I started to realize I really liked the tournaments. That's a different pressure, only knowing you can't, you know, just flip the coin again.
Yeah.
You know, so especially because the first year, I think I played 7 tournaments, and I might have won 1 match.
Really?
And I could beat most of the guys I was losing to. Now, the first draw was hard because I wasn't a seeded player. So I was Efren, you know, Luat, you know, Johnny, you know, Kim Davenport, all those guys. But on the loser side, I lose matches to guys I'm supposed to beat a lot of times, but I was a different nervous. So I was really intrigued on getting through that. You know, like getting to where that wasn't a problem, whether I won or not.
It's a different nervousness than gambling?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Gambling, I don't recall ever starting off nervous. Only I'll take that back. Now, if I only had a couple barrels and I was on the road, you know what I mean? Like, and that's happened several times where, you know, let's just imagine now, this is a true story, even smaller probably, but let's just say I had $100, and that sounds crazy to be 1,000 miles away and you only got $100. And a guy's trying to say, come on, I'll play you some 100 a game, 1 pocket, right? And I'm trying to get him to play for 50 so I can have 2 barrels, you know, and he's just insisting we play for 100. So now I'll start off a little nervous knowing I got 1 barrel, and if I quit after 1 game, it's real bad as far as the action, and you know. So, but I've had to do that a few times because percentages say I'm supposed to beat this guy, you know, and pump up.
Oh,
yeah.
Percentages say.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, that's the difference. But I mean, overall gambling, I played races to 5 for 5,000. I played the biggest set I ever played was like 38 G's, but I wasn't nervous at all.
Really?
No, I mean, I knew the person I was playing. We probably had history of playing before. You know what I mean? I knew what to expect. You know, generally it was 1 pocket more. Just wasn't as much big 9 ball back in the day. You know, unlike today. But yeah, the tournament is totally different. And like you go up the scale, like Mosconi Cup, it's off the charts.
That's why it's so impressive watching someone just break and run 5 racks in a row in a tournament. It's just perfect precision. It's because you know the control that's involved in all of those little fine movements.
Oh yeah, but that's the thing though, when they heat up a little bit, you know what I mean? What I'm saying, they start to forget about it a little bit more. They start to play better. But even the fillers, I mean, you can see it out there. You know, like, you know they're nervous about the back of the wood.
Yeah, I can imagine. Poor Max with 180 beats per second.
He was pissed, dude.
180 beats per minute is so much. That's like a full-on sprint.
No, it was way up there. And there was somebody, I can't remember exactly, maybe it was Shane, that was like 35, like way
Oh,
down
you should shut that hearing aid off.
there. I know, it's strong, huh?
That's such a great thing to be able to do, to shut the world out. It's not a great thing to be deaf, obviously, but
Yeah.
to have that with Pool, you know, it's almost like it's like, you know what a sensory deprivation tank is?
Mm-mm.
I'll show you one. We have one out here.
Okay.
You lay in salt water and you float, and the water's the same temperature as your skin. You close the door, total silence, total darkness. And in the absence of sensory input, your brain becomes like supercharged. You can think about things better. You see everything more clearly. And you start to almost achieve like a psychedelic state while you're doing this. And the benefit of not having sensory input is the other senses, for whatever, or your mind rather, is more free. It has less resources that are hogging up its,
Yeah, it makes sense.
its energy. I imagine that's what's going on with him. He shuts that hearing aid off, and he can probably just completely concentrate on the game.
Well, that and the one I thought about with him, because he's always been talked about with practice so much, right? His regimen is so, long, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, to be able to shut them off when you're practicing and be in a pool room, you know what I mean? Like really get involved in yourself. That's the big deal with most guys that practice, even the ones that want to get bothered a lot. You know what I mean?
Right.
Distractions and whatnot. Probably also just his situation when he was there, people just left him alone. They kind of knew it. You know?
I was hanging out with Max Everly, and we were at this pool hall in Las Vegas that this Italian guy owned. This guy had the best food of any pool hall I've ever been to in my life. I mean, legit Italian food. It was sensational. He had lasagna and linguine with clams and garlic
This in Vegas?
bread. Yeah, this guy was from Italy. And he would bring over food from, he was like a chef in Italy. He'd bring over his food from Italy, like imported mortadella and all this. It was insane. The food was so good. But anyway, this is while Shane was still on top of the world. This is when he was doing the tar matches and all those things. And we're playing, it's like a Friday night before a UFC. And Shane is practicing by himself for like 5 hours.
Oh, yeah.
Just 5 hours, stroking the balls and getting perfect position and setting things up again and setting things up again for 5 hours by himself. Didn't talk to anybody, just firing balls in.
Well, that's the amazing thing, too. You ever see him just sit on the back rail with a cue ball and set up a ball shot, hitting it 100 miles an hour? Well, try doing that for like 3 or 4 hours straight.
Yeah.
Hitting the ball that hard. Swinging that. I mean, you'll be wore out. He'll win the hot seat at the U.S. Open and be the first guy practicing. Not even play till the next day. Be there 8 hours, 9 hours, getting ready. Next day wakes up, does the same thing, 8 or 9 hours before he's got to play the big final.
Wow.
Oh no, he's sick. He's a sicko. For sure. But I mean, it shows though.
It shows.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if there's anyone better in the tough shot ever. I mean, I know Filler's awesome and everything, but the true tough shot, under the biggest pressure, maybe Shane's the best.
He's certainly in the argument as the greatest of all time. I mean, you got a handful of people, Efren and so many different people. And we were talking about Bustamante when he was in his prime. But the thing about all those guys, like when you go back to like the early days of tournament play, Efren Reyes and the Filipino invasion, like that was all gambling. It was all gambling.
Oh,
right?
100%.
Which is
yeah.
one of the most exciting parts of the game of pool is this illegal aspect of it.
Well,
I mean, it's like such a it's not illegal everywhere, but in a lot of places it is.
Well,
but
as soon as someone bets on the side, it becomes illegal, I think, is how it works.
oh, well, then it's illegal
In
every
Texas.
single
Yeah,
goddamn
right,
time.
right. But if
If
me
someone
and you
bets on the
just,
side in Texas,
yeah, that's
no.
a form of racketeering or something. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, yeah. But Efren, you know the
you
story.
can't even make a bet with your friends. Like, what if you and I were playing?
No, me and you are supposed to be able to play, and we
Right.
could bet $1 million,
Okay,
and it wouldn't be a problem.
but Jamie couldn't bet on us.
I think that's yeah. Or if there's someone taking a percentage of some sort. Kind of like a poker.
Benjamin.
I do not
What
know.
up?
I don't play poker.
Yeah, well, they got the poker room, but they charge you full time, an hour, so they don't take any money out of the pot. You know,
Interesting.
yeah, so it's legal now.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's not a bad compromise.
Yeah, it's
but
okay.
I feel like not being able to bet on your friend is un-American.
We're definitely not texting, that's for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're gambling with somebody and you're playing someone, I'm like, I got money on Jeremy. If I say that, that's illegal. If like we're just making an agreement,
I think so.
people?
Yeah. Pretty sure.
That sounds so
It
crazy.
happened once in Houston, like right before I started. Actually, a couple times, but once in Houston at a pool room that I frequented, like a year or two before I really started going there, right when I was young. They didn't take the guys that were playing. They took the guys that were all betting on the side.
Oh my god.
Yeah, is that crazy?
Yeah. Meanwhile, how many people are out there getting robbed? For real robbed?
Yeah, right.
How many people could you get arrested instead of like finding people who are gambling the wrong way?
Well, there's a lot of those, right?
Yeah, it's just it's such a like, and you know, like I said, those two things are great. Like taking the romantic aspect of it, playing off the rail and running the table. But to have actually lived that life, to actually be like, when did you come off that life? Like, when did you stop, like traveling constantly?
Like town to town kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably around 98, 99. I really jumped up in the rankings. Started being able to get like real sponsors, paychecks, stuff like that from the sponsors. But I still didn't quit gambling. I still played with 100 people. It was just kind of like, it wasn't spend a lot of time traveling, you know, like waiting around. Like, you might go somewhere, if you know it's a good spot, you know, like somebody sent you there, hey, they're gambling, you know, but it might take a little while to get to know you and whatnot. You might stay a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Was there the fear that you entering professional tournaments would knock your gambling? Because people would know that you.
By this time, everyone, you know, it didn't take long before a few trips I went by my middle name. Yeah, because there were magazines that, you know, you could see what's going on around the country.
Right.
You just might not get a picture or a video of it or whatever, so you start to hear names, you know. So, like, first time I went to California, I did that, actually. You know, it worked out nice. So.
What did you do? You just use a different name?
Well, it's a funny story, and I think he can laugh about it now, but you know Marcus Shaman is, right? From Sweden. So there was a guy that was staking him, and a lot of other great players, and he was big action, the guy was. And I knew Marcus was out there, and so I'm in hard time. I think I told you about this the other day with Keith, but the only two people in hard times that knew me was Keith and Jose Perico. All right, so everyone else didn't know. So Marcus Shaman is standing next to two other guys that I know play but won't play, kind of thing. So I go up and I ask them, you know, when do y'all want to play some, you know, $50, $100 sets of 9 knowing Marcus is going to just jump right on me. You know what I mean? Like, he's right next to me. So, long story short, that happened. And, but I introduced myself as Tyler. You know, like, I just did. So, we start playing. He beats me a set for playing. set for 200. I quit. Now he offers me the 7. So now the stake horse starts coming over near me because Marcus is just stealing this little 4 or 500. Ain't got nothing to do with a stake horse. You know what I mean? This is just like pocket money. So now his stake horse comes over and he's kind of interested in the game. He says he'll give you the 7, but you got to bet, everything you got. Well, I got like 25 or 30,000 on me. You wouldn't know it, but I do. So I can't pull out 25 or 30,000. They're gonna know something's up. So me and my buddy, we talked for a second. So we end up pulling out like 4,500. So we play for a little bit, and we're playing 7 ahead. We were playing a race of 7 for the 100 and 200, right? So now he thinks he's stealing because the way I played in the other 2 sets. You know what I'm saying? So he just comes out like gangbusters. Got my 40 now. I'm talking to my buddy. I'm like, man, this is sick. I'm right here. I'm getting the 7, So finally I get the shot, and I start to run out. Now I'm starting to run out. So his stake horse sits there, and he says, man, ain't this something? You know what I mean? He says, he thought we were stealing. It looks real bad now. So I beat him that set. So now, at Hard Times, you've been there, right, in L.A.?
Yeah, Bellflower.
Yeah, so they got the player side, right, with the tight tables, and they got the looser tables. Well, he had me on the looser tables thinking, I'm just a sucker, So he says, stake horse says, double the bet, and we'll give you the 8 on the tight table, right? So this is like tougher table. So I beat him that set, but during that second set, a friend of mine was on the queue and sent it out to the guy that ran the tournament in LA. So I'm going by Tyler, and this guy walks up and he says, real loud, he says, are you Jeremy Jones? No. He says, if you are, I got a cue for you, And I was like, no, I ain't Jeremy, because I'm in the middle of this $9,000 set playing, So I said, no, I ain't Jeremy Jones, and I just sent him on his way. And then the next day when I came in, Mark knew who I was. Everyone sort of spilled the beans kind of thing.
No.
I had to go tell the guy, all right, that's for you and everything. So,
Was he mad at you?
No, not at all. He understood. It's kind of like a funny story around there now, I think. But Marcus was mad at me for a little while.
Yeah, that's what I was asking.
Oh, yeah, because he was European, And it was just kind of like, if someone got me like that, it's gonna sting, but it's gonna be more like, all right, touche kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Later on, we're gonna laugh about it and stuff. But it's almost like if you first beat Efren, he walks by you, he don't say much to you for about a month or 2.
Really?
Oh yeah, he's gotta let that wear off a little bit. But it took Marcus probably about a decade before. It was bad. Yeah.
So when he beat you the first 2 sets even, were you hustling a little?
Well, I might not have put forth my best effort, but he played real good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was just, all right, let me pick up this 4 or 500, get out of
purposely
here.
trying to set something up?
Well, I'm definitely not trying to win for 200. You know what I mean? Like his stake horse, who now is actually, after that trip, became a real good friend of mine. And, at that time, he was known, you could beat him out of 40 and 50, 1,000, right? So you're not going to start off doing anything like that for 200.
So when you first start playing, you play good, but you're not really bearing down.
Right.
So you're showing him that you can play a little, but you might miss some shots that...
Plus, I wanted to see him play.
Right.
I heard the name,
Right.
kind of wanted to really see, because eventually to beat him out of the real money is going to be playing even.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because he's another great player. So that eventually was going to happen, but Marcus ended up having to leave the country for his visa got shortened up or something like that. He actually ended up leaving the next day. But I stuck around for about a month.
In these other countries, is there a lot of gambling going on? Obviously in the Philippines there is. But is there a lot of gambling going on in these other countries where all these players are emerging?
Some of Asia, for sure. Southeast Asia especially, I think. Thailand, like you said, Philippines, Indonesia. Europe here and there, not a whole lot. Not a whole lot at all. And I think it's more of the stake horse kind of situation. It's just not the mentality. It's not stake horse. People aren't just thinking, oh, let me go put somebody else in action for thousands of dollars and give them half. It's just not your everyday thing.
One of the fun parts of American pool culture, the stake horses.
Oh, absolutely. They're some of the biggest characters.
Yes, wild, crazy people with tons of money.
Yeah, and how they got it.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're interested in gambling on pool.
Yeah, I've been paid in buried money quite a few times.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It
Dig it
stinks. It stinks. car stunk.
Really?
Oh yeah, real bad.
Do you think there was like bodies next to the money?
I don't think so. I don't.
Smell. Just mildew and shit?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'm talking. Yeah, I think this has been there a long time, 30 years. Yeah. There was a guy one time we were in South Carolina. There's another place that I frequented in the summers, especially because we gambled at golf. But this guy Frank, and he was a great guy. And he was come in overalls. Didn't know he had a penny, but he staked a lot of players, and he did a lot for the pool community. So he comes in one morning because we'd all meet at the pool room about 10 a.m. and we'd all make a golf game. Then we go out to the golf course, gamble golf, come back to the pool room and make pool games. Right? It was awesome. I mean, the whole summer was like this. So this Frank comes in one morning, and he looked real upset, and he never looked upset. Always happy. Even if he lost, he was happy. And so I said, Frank, what's wrong? You okay? He said, I come out my back door and I saw one of my bushes dug up today. So one of his sons that was a little detached at times from the family for one reason or another, he let it stay there, and he said he knew it right. It was a $30,000 bush. Oh yeah. Yeah. And so he took it like a grain of salt. He was more disappointed. It was kind of like a disappointed father kind of thing, more than upset. Yeah. He had plenty of money,
Yeah.
So, but it's amazing what people do with their money.
Yeah, that's a Hunter Biden type move.
Probably got it buried a little better.
You need something. Yeah, but I mean, digging that money up for a need.
Oh yeah.
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 Yeah, that's it's just the kind of people that would go to these places and look forward to matching these guys together. Like that was always it's a famous story that's in the Running the Table book about Chicago Billiards. Did you ever go to that place? It's in Connecticut.
I don't think so.
Chicago Billiards was owned by this one eccentric millionaire who would encourage gambling. And if
JJ Thunder to the Max is the best terrain generation data pack on the internet right now. With the max height increased up to over 2,000 blocks and some mountains reaching all the way up to 1,900 blocks, even the caves are bigger and the biomes are larger in this data pack, making this a really tough one to beat by any of its competitors. So if you want to check this out for yourself, the link is down in the description box below, but let's go ahead and take a look at how I set this up for myself. So you will need to create a new world in order to utilize this data pack, as it will corrupt existing worlds. We can go ahead here and set this however we'd like. Same for the world settings here. We can do whatever we want with that, but what's important is to come over to the More tab here, go down to data packs, and we do need to add one into this set here. So after clicking on open pack folder, this will create a temporary folder for you to drop these data packs into. You want to go ahead and drop that JJ Thunder to the Max zip file into there. No need to unzip it. Clicking on open back, as it will corrupt existing worlds. We can go ahead here and set this however we'd like. Same for the world settings here. We can do whatever we want with that, but what's important is to come over to the More tab here, go down to data packs, and we do need to add one into this set here. So after clicking on open pack folder, this will create a temporary folder for you to drop these data packs into. You want to go ahead and drop that JJ Thunder to the Max zip file into there. No need to unzip it, and then you can go ahead and hop back over here, and you'll see now that it does appear in the available column. We can jump that over, and in my case, I'm using some performance mods on Fabric that are going to help this run a lot smoother. In most people's cases, you're probably going to want to utilize these as well, as this data pack does require quite a bit of processing power. So we do need to have those Fabric mods on top of JJ Thunder, but that needs to be on top of the default here for the world generation that is just a part of the world as is. Put it under that, it's not going to overwrite anything that is already in the game. So we can go ahead and get done then, and we can go ahead and then create a new world. And we're presented with something that looks like this, which isn't very impressive, so let's go ahead and fly around until we find something that does actually look pretty crazy. And I would say that that slope and the massive amount of water here is probably going to be pretty insane, so we don't want all this fog coming on around here. I am using the Bobby mod to allow me to increase my render distance by a lot, so we can come into video settings here, render distance, let's crank that all the way up to 128 and see what that's going to give me. It's going to take some bit of time to render all the chunks. After spending some time generating a bunch of the chunks and getting these all to render, we have this massive forest on one side of the river, but let's turn around and take a look at that. It is so cool. You can see some of the stuff is still rendering in the back. This does take a long time to process, and I don't know if I just didn't generate that part or if it's just kind of cut off. Looks like maybe it's kind of just cut off because it is kind of rendering if I get closer. It looks like maybe it's just taking some time. Like I said, this is a very heavy pull on the machine here, but this is crazy. I so love how this looks. It gives me so much inspiration to do some kind of canal city or something, so maybe we'll actually end up keeping this world and allowing ourselves to actually build in it. Maybe we'll do like a creative world or something. I don't know necessarily how applicable this would be to a survival world. I feel like it'd be very hard to traverse, and it would probably also mess with the ore generation, so it might be actually really hard to obtain anything that is worthwhile. But still, I think if you were going to do like a very long run on a survival world, this could be something that's fun to play with. And of course, this is still in development, so who's to say what the future is going to hold. But like I said, go ahead and check this out for yourself, play around with it. You can go ahead
no gambling was going on, he would put money up for guys to play. He just wanted action constantly. They had dorms there, like people would they had beds in the back. People would sleep there.
Cots.
Guys would come in, stay for days.
Oh yeah. Well, that's just like poker games. Houston had a big underground poker scene, and the same thing with pool rooms. If you have a guy that owns the poker room that's action, that's the best games.
Yeah.
I mean, they're putting the money back in play, and the same thing with the pool room. If the pool room owner's involved,
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to have players around. He's going to have options usually, and that's some of the best spots for action.
I remember I was watching this guy play, and he just got off the phone, and he said, my wife just told me if I don't come home now, I'm getting a divorce. And he goes, rack the balls.
I've heard that in so many words before.
But he said it out loud. He goes, rack the balls.
Yeah.
He was like, we're going to keep playing.
Oh, yeah.
It looks like I'm getting divorced.
Not the first time she's told him that, probably.
I mean,
but
it's just too addictive. Those places are too addictive. I couldn't wait to get back to them. When I'd go on the road and I'd do stand-up, couldn't wait to come back, get to the pool room. What's going on?
Oh, yeah.
Who's playing who? What's happening?
Yeah.
You
Knew a
know?
lot of truck drivers that played, got to play all over in different places, But the one thing about pool, you really, even if you don't around the gambling, it's hard to leave totally the game. I mean, it's good to hit the ball well.
Yeah.
It feels good, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's just like golf, they say, when you hit it well, it feels good, right? So
Have
it's
you
just how it
ever
is.
considered writing down some of your road stories?
Oh, yeah.
Putting together, like Danny DiLiberto has a book out.
Yeah, there's a good friend of mine, Harley Bryan. I think I was telling you a little bit about him the other day, but he's like a legend guy. And I tell him all the time, I'm like, I mean, this is like the best book ever if you just tell your stories. He was raised on a riverboat like Porky's, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the movie, you know, like that's what his dad owned 2 of them in Jacksonville, the only 2, you know, like just the stuff he was raised around. Then he was a great pool player around, you know, Jimmy Karras and Mosconi and all those guys. He's 84 now, I think. Yeah. But yeah, it'd be good to put the pool stories down. There's a lot of them.
That's one of my favorite expressions is a riverboat gambler.
Oh yeah.
Those type of people.
Yeah.
Oh, he's one of them riverboat gamblers. Just wild people.
People around the water. I mean, I don't know what it is. I mean, I'm from there too, Baytown, like right on it.
What do you think it is?
It's a very carefree kind of, you know, once you don't bathe for a week, you kind of figure out you ain't got to that often again. I mean, I don't know what the mentality is.
But why is gambling so prevalent in the South? That's what's fascinating to me. Like, why is it so a part of the culture? I mean, and even in things that are illegal, like rooster fighting and shit. Like,
Oh yeah.
gambling is like so pervasive.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you would know more about the North than I would, but maybe the faster paced. I mean, we always just said it's kind of like California, a little bit the same. They're real smart and they play well, and they're not just going to take much of a beating. And the thing is, even if you play well, the difference. A lot of people, like I used to get accused for wanting, you know, the best of the game, which who doesn't, right?
Right.
But people would mistake that also for someone who could play well under pressure. You understand? You know, if you play well under pressure, it looks like you got the best of the game. You know, most people can't. So even if you beat them playing really well, so it's hard to make another game off of how you just played because you played really well. Like
Right.
that's hard to do all the time playing pool.
Right.
You know that, right?
Right.
Yeah, right. So
I've seen guys try to match up for hours.
oh
For
yeah,
hours. Give up,
100%.
come back, give up, come back.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And then finally, oh my God, they're racking the balls? They're racking the balls.
yeah,
It's
but
happening.
you know, I go to senior centers, right? Sometimes and play pool with some of the older guys, or I have a lesson there or something like that. They talk a little shit without any gambling, so you know what I mean. So, and some of it goes way back. Like it's pretty
Yeah.
nasty stuff. So.
Oh, really?
Well, I mean, kinda. I mean, you know, they don't know me from Adam talking about something real personal from 25 years ago. You know,
That's hilarious.
yeah, it's pretty funny. So, I think the barking in general, being somewhere you're allowed to bark a little bit.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it's just a part of the fun of it all. It's like wild things are happening.
Oh
You
yeah,
know?
absolutely.
People are accusing people of sharking them, and there's this.
Well, the swings too, the ups and downs. You know, like I mean, you know, you just broke so and so. He's dead broke. He was borrowing money yesterday, and you know, you spent 2 days out of the pool room, and he's won 10,000 cents. You know what I mean? So you
Right.
keep track of everyone,
Yeah.
especially if you're in a place locally that you live at that has action. You always want to know what's going on a little bit. You know?
And for people that don't understand the allure of this, you're constantly engaged in some kind of competition. It's constant happening.
Oh yeah,
And
and,
there's-
it's endless.
Yeah, it's endless.
Yeah, it ain't, you know, basketball, what are you going to do? You're going to go shoot free throws maybe, or maybe play
Right.
one. I mean, this is endless. The pool games and the handicaps, the partners.
There's no season.
Yeah. Y'all two could play me.
Yeah.
You know, we could rotate.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. Have you ever sat down and try to like write out some of these stories?
Not really the stories, no. I've written some stuff for teaching, because I do a lot of that, right? And it helps to write it down, yeah, for sure. But no, not the stories, probably should.
You definitely should.
Yeah. I think I'd want to know somebody, though, like really trust putting it in someone else's hands.
Right.
You know,
right.
someone's going to come across
Have
with
an
a...
author.
Yeah, give it the right climate, whatever that is. You know, I'm not sure what that is yet, but
Maybe we could just record some of your stories. Just record some of your stories and make YouTube videos. That might actually be even better than a book.
well, some of them are pretty crazy.
Give me a crazy one. What's the craziest one?
There. I can't tell you probably maybe the craziest. I'll tell you later on the
Okay.
craziest ones on there. But let's see. So one time I was at a tournament in Mississippi. To get on with this, I won the tournament. Tough tournament. Johnny Archer, all the great players, and his bar table. So I won like 8,000. So by the time I won the tournament, I think I was about 25,000 losing in the casino. Okay, like terrible. I wasn't even trying. You remember Tony Ellen?
Yes.
So he was 20 minutes late to get a steak dinner. It cost me about 12,000. I went down there and said, let me just pitch 300. You know, and they just pounded me, right? So I got the tournament money after winning it. Went straight to the cage and cashed it. Went straight to the blackjack. Yeah, I had it in about 10 minutes, so the 8,000 was gone. And so this guy that was playing there was Frank Seals, and he was a legendary stake horse. And he used to stake CJ when he was a kid, and a lot of players throughout the years. And he said, "Hey, if you're ever bored and you want to come up to Morristown, Tennessee, I got a kid. I'll let you play if you still want to play. I like the way you gamble," is what he said. You watch me play blackjack, blow all my money, right? Yeah. So, yeah. So I told him, I said, "You ain't dealing me with no blackjack up there if I go up there." So anyways, I go up there. So he's got this guy, Mark Owens, his name, good player, and real high gear. Maybe not the most steady player, but real high gear. So we're playing. We start off playing races to 9 or 10 or something for 1,000. So long story short, 10,000 loser. Okay, and it's because we raised it and whatnot. And so now the whole town, this is a small town, okay, just up in the northeast corner of Tennessee. So the whole town starts coming in, and this is their hero. So my buddy starts taking bets on the side, you know. So now I got him 10,000 loser, and he says, "We want to play a set for 10,000. This is what Frank says, the stake horse. He says, "But we need to call 8. You know what the call 8 is, of course, right? So I said, "Okay, yeah." So we're going to race to 15. So we're betting about 10,000 on the side. Okay, so we're playing a set for like 20. All right, because my buddy's got a list of bets this long with all the town people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's 9-8 me. Instead of playing safe on the 8, I try to jack up off the end rail and stab it in and draw my ball. And I bobble. He makes it. He breaks and wins 5 racks. So now he breaks on to 15. And the 4-9 is wired over the spot. He makes an incredible shot on the 1. He's got the 3 down the rail, and he's just got a cupcake on the 4-9. So I turned my buddy, and I said, "Man, we ain't got but like 8,000 left, you know? Because we were winner. We started off 1,000 set." I said, "We can't lower the bet. You can't do that. And then they know you're short." You know what I'm saying? You can't do that. So I'm like, "What are we going to do? You know, we'll get more money tomorrow, or whatever, right?" So the pool table's here, right? He's shooting to this corner. Now, Frank is the only guy. He's sitting right here on a school chair, right, like a little school chair.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else is way back over here besides me and my buddies over here, all the people watching. So he knocks the 3 in, Mark does, and he comes down. He was kind of one of those guys that would fire the 9 in. You know what I'm saying? You've seen him. He rifles this 4-9. He could have just tapped it, and it would have rolled right in the corner. This ball went down and swirled around in the pocket. Jumped almost all the way back out to the spot. That's how far it went.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, all the money's on the light, right? So Frank, he knows about pool, and the ball's aimed directly at Frank. So as soon as he hits it, he knows it's in. So Frank starts to get up and get the money. I said, "Oh, Frank," I said, "the 9's on the table." You know, Frank's like 75 years old. He's got glasses. So I said, "The 9's on the table." He says, "Oh, I'm sorry." You know, like he didn't realize it didn't go in. Well, it did go in. It just came back out. Yeah. Never pocketed another ball the whole set. I played safe on that first shot. I broke a ran, played safe, broke a ran, beat him 15-14. Right?
Wow.
Yeah. So now kid hits, literally crying. Okay. So Frank says, "Come back the next day. We'll play you some more." So we come back the next day. We start out playing like for 3,500 races to 11. So I beat him 3 sets. So he says, "Hey, I'm trying to take a break. I'll play for a minute." Sweet, man. This is good. Good action, you know. So Frank's sitting in this chair right here, and the kid's practicing a little bit, and he hits a ball in that same pocket. It jumps the pocket, hits Frank dead in the eye, right? And glasses, and blood's going everywhere. I mean,
Jesus Christ.
oh yeah, it was ironically crazy, right? So we end up having to quit, and we never end up playing again. So the same pocket that kind of saved me the day before, right? Kind of got him the next day, and we end up never playing. Yeah, funny story.
What kind of shitty table is that?
It was a Gold Crown, but it had replacement pockets. You know, the big black ones that go in. They're kind of bulky. They kind of move around a little
They
bit.
did a shitty job.
Yeah, it's old school pool hall. But
Oh, man.
yeah, that Frank, he was something else. So I'm playing, right, and he pulls up his overall, and I see a gunshot wound in his leg. I said, dang, Frank, you got shot? He said, yeah, my wife shot me about 10 years ago. I said, man, you mean your ex-wife, don't you? He says, no. He says, I'm still with her, right? Dang. 3 months later, she killed him. After I played it. Yeah, same lady that shot him 10 months before.
Oh my
10 years.
God. She shot him dead?
Dead. I think she did 6 months in a mental place, and then she's out. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
6 months?
6 months, that was it. Yeah.
That's it? She shot him twice?
Yeah, I think it
Did
was
he
like
not tell about more?
I think it was like 5 of them in the chest.
Oh, when she killed him.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
she was-
Remember I was telling you about that buried money?
yeah.
Frank gave me some of that buried money.
Did he?
I think he was kind of like a numbers guy. You know how they run the lottery out in the country on their own and stuff? Yeah, I think he did like stuff like that. So.
My grandma was involved with that.
Yeah, it's a big thing in the Northeast.
The,
You know?
the numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing. People look forward to that kind of gambling. I just don't like restrictions on gambling, and I know people have problems with it. I really do. I've met a lot of people that are like degenerate gamblers, and it's horrible to see.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
so- they get so addicted. They're so fucked up, but it's still fun, and especially with pool, it's really fun. I mean, you're gambling on a game of skill, you know?
Yeah. Well, I've rarely seen where someone got their life messed up, really. I mean, don't get me wrong. You might not have the best relationship,
Right.
with your lady, if you're gone all the time for days at a time, right? But as far as, like, financially, really, I've seen it in other kind of gambling and whatnot. You've seen that, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen it in all kinds of sports gambling in particular.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that movie, Uncut Gems?
Yeah.
The Adam Sandler
Yeah.
movie? What a great
Yeah,
fucking
really
movie.
good.
What a great
Yeah.
movie.
I like him in serious roles. And
I never saw him in one before that. But that one is so good. You get so much anxiety watching that. You're like, don't do it.
yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? We know guys like that.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Those are real guys.
Oh, 100%. And it's amazing because usually they get a hold of a big number and it still doesn't matter.
No.
You know, like, I mean, it used to be like, all right, they got a hold of 30. How long are they going to hold on 30? They got a hold of 60.
They want
Now-
that juice.
Yeah, but I mean, same guys, I've seen them get a hold of 500, 600s
Mm-hmm.
and still going and losing it all
Yeah.
quickly.
Yeah.
Month, 3 weeks.
Yep.
I'm like, well, I mean, I went broke tons of time. I mean, I'd tail between the legs coming back home, but I mean, I'd leave with like 3,000,
Yeah.
4,000, and normally odds are the value I was going to come back pumped up. Sometimes I came back broke, but it wasn't like, like that.
I was watching Dana White gamble in Vegas. I was playing blackjack, and when I got there, he was down 600,000.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah,
we
we're
wound up winning all that, and plus 600.
oh yeah,
But like,
like the guy we were talking about earlier with the IBT. What he used to like that real high dollar back 20, 30,000. Yeah, goes fast.
oh boy, it does.
Yeah.
That's just so crazy. But I guess when you just have like fucking shit tons of money, and that's the only way you can get excited. Like, it has to be dangerous.
I don't know. I think there's got to be a hypnotism. I mean, they obviously aren't gonna go broke, right?
Right.
So
I mean, maybe.
well, I hope not. But-
Yeah, I
but-
mean, look, it could happen if you just get really wacky and keep going.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, you could get yourself stressed out about it, I guess. But I mean,
I mean, it
I don't know
hasn't
if
happened to the people that I know, but it could.
if I had $1 billion though, I think if I like playing blackjack, maybe 1,000 hands just gonna be just as satisfying. Just maybe be pool player. I don't know.
I don't know, Jeremy.
Maybe my mentality. I don't know.
I don't know, Jeremy.
Because I used to
think
play
you
a
got
lot higher than 1,000 a hand.
a couple of
Wh-
whiskeys
when I
in
didn't.
you.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah, a couple of whiskeys in, you might be betting 150,000 a hand.
Yeah, maybe.
Let's
maybe.
go.
I will raise my bet if I get winner.
Yeah, that's what I'm
100%.
saying.
That's
Yeah.
pool room mentality.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the only way to win, really.
Yeah, yeah. It's just the art of that, though, is what was always fun to watch. The art of like making the game and guys going in knowing that they were eventually probably going to play even, but like, bro, I need the 8. I need the fucking 8. I
Yeah.
need the breaks. I need this. I need that. And it's this banter back and forth. And everybody circling around, watching this drama play out.
Yeah. And you're trying to figure out who to bet on.
Yeah.
Because you can't just sit on the sidelines wait for the nut game.
Yeah.
You won't get any action. It's like a poker guy. They know he's got aces of kings if he moves all in, kind of like thing, right?
And there's
So-
also an understanding amongst guys who gamble with each other on a regular basis that I'm losing money to you. You're losing money to me. We're all good.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. Yeah.
There's a little going this way, a little going that way. There's very rarely were bad feelings after guys would lose money gambling. I mean, some guys get pissed off at themselves, or some guys, but
Yeah, I mean, areas were different, I think, and maybe you noticed it more, but like Houston, where I was from, it was just gambling was gambling, personal was personal. It was the most cut and dry I had ever been around.
and
so-
it was cut and dry, sort of in the culture, like as you were coming up.
Yeah,
Everybody
absolutely.
did it that way. And,
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas like Dallas, we always called it more nitty,
Oh, right.
but, it just was more nitty. It wasn't necessarily nitty. It was just more nitty,
More nitty than Houston.
Than
And
Houston was,
Nitty
yeah.
is someone who's like you're very conservative in your gambling.
Yeah.
Trying to
Fire one barrel at you,
Yeah, if you lose, you're out of there.
Yeah, exactly.
Where'd
yeah.
that term come from?
Nitty?
Yeah.
You got me.
That's an old term.
Old. And it's used, not just pool. I mean, I've heard it outside of pool, but
Yeah.
well, Houston's been around on the map for game. That's where Cesar Morales went, right? That was
Right,
Efren's name.
Yeah.
And he
yeah.
passed as a Hispanic guy from San Antonio.
Yeah.
That funny story, if you ever heard Red Walling, the guy that owned Reds. So I guess Efren was in the semifinal and of the tournament, still under the name of Cesar Morales. And he went up to Red Walling and he says, Mr. Walling, he said, I got to ask you a question, or I got to tell you something. My real name isn't Cesar Morales. Am I going to get forfeited out of the tournament and not get my money? He wanted, before he got to winning the tournament, he wanted to fess up, And so Red Walling said, yeah, just tell us your real name now, and we'll make sure you get paid, Pretty crazy. And that was only like 10 miles from where I was from, but it was before my time.
So how did those guys know in the Philippines that there was so much gambling going on in Texas back then? And how did they know they could take this kid from the Philippines who turns out to be one of the greatest players, if not the greatest that's ever lived, and then just rob everybody?
Well, Philippines are everywhere. Filipino people are everywhere. I mean, if you would go to a tournament, it could be you just pick a place out of the blue. If there's a Filipino champion there's going to be groves of them showing up to watch. So they kind of keep control of it. Plus, there was one of the original guys that was a top player, him and his brother, Rudy Pasquale and J.R. Pasquale. They came before Efren and all them, and they lived in Houston. So they kind of brought them there for the Reds tournaments and all the action. Yeah. So kind of like we said, information.
Right.
Yeah.
So they knew Efren in the Philippines, so Efren had already had a name. So if he had tried to come over as Efren Reyes, people would already have heard about him.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah. And the thing is, then at that point, there were only a couple of them that you heard about from outside of America. So Efren was one of them for sure. It wouldn't get lost.
What is the highest stakes match you've ever seen played?
Ooh. Probably in New Orleans, there's a billionaire, Carl Baum. I think he took on like 220,000 worth of action. He's not a good player, but he's not a bad player. He's kind of a guy, and he comes down to a few tournaments and he plays real expensive, on the bar table. He plays 9-ball, plays another weak player, or he plays a good player getting a huge spot.
And like, how much is he gambling?
Oh, I mean, he's playing like 6 or 7 games ahead, or maybe a race to 9 for, in the middle might be like 80 or 100, but he'll bet another 100 on the side. Well, when he comes, everyone bets against him, just because, you're looking at the odds, right?
Right.
Yeah, you're looking at, and that's another thing in the pool room. You might get a good game, but the guy's short,
Right.
so you got to wait.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right,
You want to get the
right.
most out of that game if
You
you
gotta
do
wait
win.
until he's plump with cash.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's
Yeah.
It's like all knowing when to pull the trigger, when not
Exactly
to,
right, yeah.
knowing where a person's at,
Yeah, when it's all prime.
knowing if they scored recently.
Yeah, how they're playing.
Right.
Tony Ellen used to be the best because, people bet on matches and stuff at the tournaments, and he was just so in tune with all the players, some of them their personal lives, and like that makes a huge difference on that
Sure.
because pool's so mental.
Oh yeah, your girlfriend breaks up with you.
Yeah.
Kicked out of your apartment.
Yeah.
Now you might play like shit.
Or if like a couple things don't go your way to start with, Tony used to say that if he doesn't get it his way at the beginning, he's gonna fold. He's just in that mood right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, just so many different aspects.
Yeah. So, is the biggest games that you've seen played really from people that is like the most high stakes between like two elite players? Because I know there's some legendary stories about, you know, guys like Bustamante and Johnny Archer locking horns, and Johnny runs the whole set.
Yeah,
And Bustamante ups the bet.
Yeah, says flip the coin. Yeah, double the bet and beat him. Yeah, I played on that table. That was in Toledo, Ohio.
How many?
13 and out, 13 racks and out.
Johnny broke and ran 13 racks in a row.
Yeah.
I would never play with another Q ever for a second in life.
Yeah.
That Q is an extension of his soul.
You're right.
To run 13 racks is so bananas.
Yeah.
And to do it, and how much were they gambling?
I think it was like 10. You know, back then, the thing is, these days, of course, everything's gone up in money, right? So, but there's more being bet now. So, I would say like when Dennis and Shane played a few years ago.
Here it is.
That was a huge one.
It says one time we're in Toledo and Archer was playing Bustamante, a race to 13 for 2,000.
2,000. Okay.
13 consecutive racks in a row.
Yeah. Johnny was a bad hombre for money.
Oh, my God.
He was awesome in the tournament, but
He's awesome in everything.
yeah, I just rarely ever saw him get beat for money. I mean, he would give guys that were like really good players the last four, you know what I mean, on tight table. Oh, no, I got this, Jeremy. Yeah, no problem. You know, like, never saw him practice, by the way. So.
You know, the guy like Johnny, like with all this new technology with like carbon fiber cues and the like, does a guy like that still play with a wood shaft?
I think so. I haven't seen him play in quite some time. It's been probably 4 or 5 years that I've seen since he's really been in a big competitive tournament. Now, he did play the U.S. Open a couple of years ago. Won a match or two, but didn't do that well. So I don't think he's playing a ton. So, yeah. Last I saw him play, you know, I think he opened a pool room there in North Georgia. So doing a lot of that.
But this technology thing, like we were talking about this today, that there's these new carbon fiber shafts and they're very consistent and all these people play with them, but some players still prefer the feedback that they get from wood, and that's part of the enjoyment of the game, is like feeling that feedback in your hand.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you definitely get a lot of feel. You know, you don't want something that's like a 2x4, right? I mean, you know, that's why, you know, players, they break in, like they get a new cue, they break in the shaft, the oil's off your hands, you know, just a number of things you like. I think one of the things about the carbon fiber, which I like it, but you get a lot out of it. But sometimes, you know, if you get a little hairy, the miss can be a little uglier.
Really?
Yeah, just because it does put a little more spin on the ball. You know, it's just a little higher spin rate overall. So, I mean, you know, if you get a little, you know, like say you decel at the ball, it could be real ugly, you know, or if you really overhit it, you know.
But my point was that, like, Johnny played perfect with a wooden shaft. Like, how would you convince that guy to even try carbon fiber?
Well, if he could just do it a little easier. You know, if you can swing a little.
Is that what it is? Is it easier? It moves the ball easier.
Yeah. You can swing a little more, you know, subtly. Hate to say soft or anything like that, but just a little less on it overall. Or let's say you're putting a tip and a half of left English. Maybe you only got to go a tip or a half a tip. So a little comfort level, you know, comfort overall.
It just makes the ball react differently.
Yeah, and I don't know exactly all the technology behind it, other than, you know, you can build them how you want. Exactly, right? Wood, there's still a little variable, I think.
Yeah, but the thing that bums me out is that part of pool is the custom cue makers. There's like these guys that are making these beautiful, functional pieces of art.
Oh, absolutely. You know, but you know, with the carbon fiber, I guess most of the companies, and really with the playability, it's gone to more performance than it is, even though they are, you know, they make attractive cues and all that. But you wouldn't say it's the time and effort like some of your handcrafted cues.
Right. It's just about winning. It's
Yeah.
not about showing up with a Bala Bush
Color
of money.
Doom.
It's a great scene.
Oh, I loved it. I've made a post about my new cue the other day referring to that.
Do you know the video game Doom was
Yeah.
named from that scene?
Yeah, a bunch of people made that comment on the
Isn't that
post.
amazing?
Yeah, that is amazing.